I thought I was going to be, full of joy and happiness, and I was going to be jumping up and down. And all of a sudden, I felt flat. I won the Masters. Is this it? Wonderful picture. It reminds me of one of the victories that I have dearly in my heart. It was a very special week. It's one of the tournaments that are really close to my heart because it was in France, it was in Paris, and it was a very unique event at the time. Well, my relationship with France and the players that I grew up with when I was a teenager, it's always been very close. I live only, a few miles away. And I remember when I was a little kid coming to play to golf courses in France, like Chantaco, La Nivelle, and the relationship is very close with the Lacoste family. I remember coming and visiting René Lacoste at his home and spending time with him. And actually, he was very eager on innovating materials in golf, and he showed me some of his ideas that he had in those days, and obviously with Catherine and the whole Lacoste family. And I consider them as part of my family, and I hope they think so too. This is a very important one. I was very close in 91. Actually, Woozy beat me in 91, and this is 94, the Masters. And I was really very, very nervous, very, very nervous. And somehow I tried to hold those nerves, those emotions, and I managed to win the tournament. I was 2 shots ahead playing 18. And funny enough, I remember what Seve told me in 91 when Woozy beat me, because I thought I had to bear the 18, and then I took a driver off the tee, and I hit a lovely tee shot, and the ball bounced twice and then trickled into the bunker, and I made bogey. And couple of weeks later, Seve told me, I think you shouldn't have hitting a driver of the tee. I mean, just try to avoid those bunkers, try to make 4 and force the others to make 3. So I was 2 shots ahead in 94, and I remember very clearly what Seve told me. And we had the southwest winds, which is helping on 18. And I took the 1 iron off the tee instead of hitting the driver, trying to avoid the bunkers and make sure that, I gave myself a best chance to go for the green. And I remember doing that and making 4 and winning the tournament. I imagine myself winning the Masters and being full of joy. And actually, that didn't happen. That's not what happened. When I knocked that putt in, all of a sudden I felt relief. I said to myself, I did it. And funny enough, when everything was done and over, because in those days you had to obviously attend the media and all that, but then you had to go and have dinner with the members of the club. And I had dinner and I went back to the house that we were staying in for the week. And I remember getting out of the car and I saw people in the house. It was media and all that. And I sat outside the car and I was, flat. I was flat. I thought I was going to be full of joy. And I remember my manager and dear friend, Sergio Gomez, looked outside the house and saw me sitting on the side of the car. And he said, what the hell are you doing here? There, I mean, there is people waiting for you. And I said, Sergio, please, come. So he came and we had a little chat for 5 minutes. And I said to Sergio, I thought I was going to be, full of joy and happiness, and I was going to be jumping up and down. And all of a sudden, I felt flat. I won the Masters. Is this it? And he said to me, are you crazy or what? And I remember just, not experiencing what I was hoping or thinking that would happen. It was a weird feeling. Yeah. Well, same tournament a few years later. Yes, this is 99 when I won my second Masters, and this was a completely different Masters. I go to the tournament with very low confidence with my driver. I mean, the rest of the game was good, but my driver was off. I was hitting it left and right. I couldn't hit fairways, and I wasn't confident with my game for the week. And I remember having a practice round on Tuesday with Seve, and when we finished, Seve approached me and said, "Jose, why don't you try to put the ball in play? Just take a very slow swing and try to put the ball in play, because the rest of the game, you know, is very good. Your iron play is good, your short game is good, and if you put the ball on the fairway, you know, you're going to be able to do well." And I thought about it, and then I practiced on Wednesday, and I worked on it, and then the tournament started, and that's what I thought off the tee on every hole during the tournament, especially with the driver. And funny enough, I hit, you know, most of the fairways, and the rest of the game was good, and I put myself again in a situation of winning the tournament, and I did.
Unflappable. Olazábal has a second green jacket.
In comparison with the 94 Masters, I really did enjoy this one. Every single step of the tournament. I remember very vividly talking to my caddy in those days on 16, as we were walking after I hit the tee shot on 16. We were walking towards the green, and I said to him, he was walking just beside me, and I said to him, "Brendan, enjoy these moments, because they don't come very often." And I was very conscious of what was going around me, and you cannot imagine the noise, the crowds, how they were shouting, how they were clapping, and I remember very vividly what I thought. I said to myself, it doesn't get any better than this.
That was magnificent.
I really enjoyed that second Masters the way I didn't in 94. I was very conscious of the lights, the flowers, the colors and all that. And it was, that second victory, I've always said that it was more special than the first one. Well, I always get emotional when I see Seve and the green jacket and myself. He was a very special person. He helped me a lot. He took me under his wing when I was a teenage boy. I learned so much from him. I owe a lot to him. A lot of my career is because of him. Obviously, I put a lot of work on achieving that, but you know, when I was 17 years old, I got a phone call at home from a lady. She said that it was Seve's secretary, and that Seve wanted to play an exhibition match to raise money for sick, ill children. And I said, somebody's pulling my leg. I didn't believe it. So I hung the phone down. And funny enough, you know, a few days later, I got a phone call, but this time it was Seve saying, José María, this is Severiano Ballesteros speaking. And then I realized my mistake the first time around. And that's how I met Seve personally. I went to I went to play that exhibition match. I was obviously over the moon. I didn't expect, you know, a Masters champion and a British Open champion to call me to play an exhibition match in his home golf course. And, you know, I went there and, you know, we understood each other straight away. He made me feel really comfortable from the very beginning. I really enjoyed my time with him that day. And I think that created, that was the seed that created a wonderful relationship between the two of us. And then years went by, and then I passed professional and I started playing in the States, and I spent more time with him, and I learned a lot. I learned a lot about him. I mean, he was all desire. He never gave up. You know, he fought until the end, every single day. You know, it was not just the game itself. I mean, the time we spent having dinner together, you know, the lessons he gave me, not just about the game itself, but life, the attitude on the golf course. You know, when I played with him at the Ryder Cup, you know, it was unbelievable. His determination, his stamina, his desire to win. As I said before, he never gave up. Regardless of the situation of the match, it didn't matter if we were not playing well and the rest were playing great. He kept on fighting until the end, and it marked my way of facing a normal day on the golf course. And you know, it was sad that he left us so young, but he's a man that marked my career, no questions about that. Well, this is the Ryder Cup at Valderrama. The experiences that you get playing the Ryder Cup are second to none, and you will never find that in any other tournament. It doesn't matter if it's a major event or not. I've seen grown men cry because of defeat and also because of joy. And that is something that you won't experience in any other tournament. I remember in Boston, by instance, when we had 4-point advantage playing on Sunday, and we lost the Ryder Cup. I remember walking into the locker room, and every member was there, sitting down with the head down, and I saw Seve crying, Bernard Langer crying, Nick Faldo crying. You know, most of the guys were crying, and you will never see that, not even in a major event. And on the contrary, you know, the Ryder Cup in 2012, we were 4 points behind. We managed to win the tournament, and you know, when I went into the locker room, everybody was there, players, caddies, you know, girlfriends, wives, and it was total joy. I mean, total joy. It is something that, as I said, you won't experience in any other event, because it's not your personal joy. It's the joy of a whole group and a continent, and you know, that's why the Ryder Cup is so special. And you experience things when playing foursomes, four balls with your playing partner. You create friendships that will last a lifetime because of being a team event, and not just playing for yourself, but playing for the rest of the members in that team and a country. Well, 2012, what can I say about this? I mean, this week is special. I mean, I knew I had only one shot as captain. And we had a very strong team. I was really happy with the team. They were playing good. I knew we were playing in the US, away from home, and especially Chicago, where the crowds are very, very loud and very strong, and I knew it was going to be tough. And how things evolve during the week is something that is very hard to explain. I really don't know, well, miracles, I don't know if miracles exist, but if they do, this is one of them. Actually, at one point on Saturday afternoon, it looked like the match was going to be over because we were 4 points behind, and in the afternoon session we were losing 3 matches and tying 1, so it was going to be pretty much over. And what happened that Saturday afternoon, especially with the last 2 matches, it was unique. You know, the way they turned the matches on our side, the way Ian Poulter finished those 3 holes, you know, birding 16, 17, 18, playing with Rory, managing to win that point that kept us still 4 points behind, but it made a huge difference, especially the way he celebrated when he made that putt on 18. I think that was the crucial moment of the week. When he made that putt, he fist pumped the air, but he turned and looked at every member in the team with, you know, eyes this big, you know, and I think everybody felt that energy, and we believed that things were going to change the following day. I think that was the key moment, and obviously on Sunday everything went our way. We started to make putts, chips from everywhere. There were so many things that went our way that it was very difficult to explain. And well, it made the week, it made my career actually, because I think that was the ice on the cake. I mean, you know, after winning, you know, 2 majors and some Ryder Cups, but being captain of that team and the way the team won that week, it made my career so much sweeter. And I've always said this: I didn't hit a single shot, and I have to thank every player in that team for giving the best week of my life.